Hello, and welcome to another edition of Tech Tuesday presented by Delta Media Group. We've been noticing around here that there have been a lot of spoiler talk going around between Avengers Endgame coming out and the series finale of Game of Thrones. So I'm just going to get it all out of the way right now, and I'm going to tell you exactly what happens. At the end of Titanic, the ship sinks. It sinks at the end. I'm telling you, now you know. You don't have to go see it. So, what we're going to do today is we're going to jump into the tried and true eCards and flyer system. We've taken a look at it a few times before, but I keep going over it in these videos because we keep making it better. It's just what we do around here. So let's jump into the DeltaNet and see what it looks like. So first off, I'll give you the quick rundown of how to use the eCards and flyers system. We'll just go down to Customers, down to eCards and flyers, and you can see we are presented with numerous templates to choose from for the kind of eCard or flyer we want to send out. Now once we choose one, they're set up in the same way. It's one of my favorites here. But if you pick one that's related to a property, it can automatically fill in with your property information. So I'll go ahead and pick an eCard to start off with. So here is an eCard. So we'll click on that one. Now this is just a generic eCard, so you can see I don't have the option to choose a property for this one, but I can customize the colors. So if I wanted to change the background color in the header, I would just click here, pick another color. Let's go with a nice purple. And you can see it changes to purple. If I want to change this background image, you can see that it's highlighted when I roll over it. And if I click there, I can now select a custom image. So if I wanted to pull something from my computer, I would click on upload a file from my computer, and then I'd be able to choose it from here and insert it into the eCard. I can then click on the custom message down here, and I can fill in that message however I'd like. This is my message. And save. And there you go. So from that, I have created an eCard. Now if I pick one that relates to a property, we'll go ahead and go back to eCards and flyers, and just as a shortcut, I'll select from the categories here and go with a new listing one. So you can see here's our new listing eCards, and like these are actually print flyers here. Let's grab an eCard. Here's one. So we'll click on that one, and you can see from here, because this one's related to a property, I can choose from my properties. Note that it's going to show my properties by default, but really I can send this for any property we have data for. So if I type in an address or an MLS ID, it'll bring up all the matches, and then I can just click on match, and it'll load up the information for that one. So even though this listing isn't mine, I didn't list the Taj Mahal, it can load up the information for any listing we have. Now this one, we only have one picture for this particular listing. If there were more, they would fill in down here, so it would have the separate pictures there. And if I wanted to customize which picture it was using, I would just click on one. So we'll go ahead and let's try this. There we go. So you can see this one has multiple pictures, and if I wanted to change which one's showing up in any of these blocks, I just click on the picture in the block and choose from the other pictures that are in the system for that listing. This one only has 4 pictures. Normally, if you've got 30 pictures, they'll all show up here, and then you can choose which ones you want to show up in that block. So just like the other eCard, anything that highlights in red like that is something that I can click on and change if I want. And once I have it looking the way I want, including the logo down here, so if I click on that, I can choose from different versions of the logo, mainly designed to keep me covered for dark and light backgrounds. And I would just click on that. It gives me my logos here. And then I just click on the one I want. Once everything's all set, I'll click on Send eCard. From here, I can type out the email addresses of individual recipients I want it to go to, or I can select from any of my customer groups over here, and I can select from any combination of groups if I want to send it to more than one. I'll go up here and customize my subject line however I want to. I'll click on Send, and then it'll show me a little report that says, how many it sent to and how many it didn't send to because they were opted out or whatever. I'll go ahead and send one out for good measure, if I can type today. Send eCard. You can see up here at the top it says successfully delivered to one recipient, because that's the email address I typed in. There's the address it went to, and now I have the option of sharing this eCard if I want to share it on social media, anything like that. So I can just click on Facebook or LinkedIn, wherever I want to share it, and I can share it out to my page that way. So there you go. Now the next thing you can do here is we'll go ahead and grab a print flyer and just run through one of those real quick. They are set up exactly the same way. So let's see, print flyers. Here's a good one. So you can see this interface is exactly the same. I have the option of changing the front background and the back background color. This is actually meant to be a two-sided postcard. Just like the other one, I select my property, change any information as I see fit. If it highlights like that, there we go. And then generate flyer. Now this time, instead of showing me a report of how many it's sent to, it gives me the same share links, but also gives me the option to download the flyer. If I click that, the system generates a PDF of that flyer that I can either print out on my own, or I can save this to a file, put it on a flash drive, email or Dropbox it to a third party. I could send it to Vistaprint and have stuff printed out. I could take it to a local print shop on a thumb drive and have them printed out that way. So that's why we lay these out as a PDF. Now you can see also, because this is a postcard, it's meant to print on a single sheet of paper. So that's why it shows up twice like this. The idea is one sheet of paper is going to hold two postcards, so you just print this double-sided on cardstock, and you will have postcards. So there you go. All right, so now the new stuff and the really interesting stuff with eCards and flyers. What we've added and what we added a while ago were some automations. We have expanded those automations to include a lot of different kind of dates or a lot of different kinds of triggers. So to take a look at those, we'll just go up here and click on eCard Automation Wizard, which is our little magic wand up there. And now when we select a category, what we had before were the top sections up here, the open houses, just sold, new listing, and the anniversaries, and then later we added birthday, and now we have wedding anniversary, spouse birthday, child birthday, and pet birthday. So those are all now part of this system. They all work in about the same way. We'll take a look at one of the listing ones, for example, to start off with. So if I click on new listing, if I switch this to enabled, what it's going to do is whenever a new listing comes in, it's going to wait 3 days after the new listing, as per this setting, and then it's going to send an eCard to all the customers that are in these two groups. That eCard will have a subject line of what's set here, and it will use the template that I have selected down here. And you can see from all the different templates here. Now these are all the listing-based eCards, so the system is just going to autofill with all the information for the new listing and send those out. And that's all there is to it. You just set those settings and go down here and click Save Automation, and you're done. Now, what this will do is, or the difference between what the new listing ones and some of the other ones will do, is the new listing is going to send 3 days or whatever this day is after the listing comes in. If I go down here and I do just sold, for example, now this is also going to do 3 days after the listing sells, but other than that, it works exactly the same. Open houses is a little bit different because that will send before the open house. So once we have the open house data, this is going to send 3 days before the open house takes place. So that's the main difference there. But the rest of this is all set up the same. Now the other types of eCards that are a little bit different as far as how the triggers work are the anniversary, birthday, homeowner anniversary. Those aren't working based on when a listing comes into our system or when an open house comes into our system or when a listing sells, anything like that. Those are based on dates that are saved on the customer record. And I'll show you where to put those dates. So for example, let's do pet birthday. I like that one. That one's fun. So for pet birthday, what it's going to do is it's going to wait until it sees the date on a customer record for a customer that's in any of the selected groups here. So I would go down, I would select these groups the same way, but these aren't just the whole group that it's going to send to when the action happens. What it's doing is looking at the customers that are in these groups, or you can select all customers. It's going to look at the customers that are in those groups, see those dates set for these customers, and then based on those dates, trigger an email to just that customer. So this basically is just choosing what customers this system is looking at. So what it will do is it's going to look at the pet birthday date in the case of this one, and then 3 days before the pet's birthday, it's going to fire off an email to, not the pet, because the pet probably doesn't have an email address. They might, but probably not. And so it's going to send an email out to the actual primary on the account, or the primary email address on the account, using the template that you have selected down here, just like the other systems. And you can see we have a couple of pet birthday templates at this point. So we're going to continue to expand upon those, but for now it's just these two that are in there. Look at him. Adorable. Adorable. But other than that, it's set up exactly the same way, and in this case, that eCard template allows you to customize the headline and message, so you can do that here. whenever you have an eCard template that allows some customization that you've selected up here, the fields to allow you to customize it show up down here at the bottom. So just something to keep in mind as you go through these. So that's all there is to it with these. They will do or work in exactly the same way for child's birthday, only it's looking at the child birthday date, spouse birthday, wedding anniversary, birthday, and really the homeowner anniversaries, because all those are entered onto the customer profile pages. So just real quick, we'll take a look at those. If I run over to the customer center here, and we scroll down to just some customer, you can see it opens up their customer profile page. I'll click on Edit Profile, and then this is where I would enter those dates. So we go down here, family information, family member information. So now we can actually add a family member and say what they are here, and then put in their birthday, and that's the date that's going to run off of. And then for purchase and sold information, this is the date that it's going to run off of for those anniversary cards. So this purchase date, when you would set this for whenever they purchase a house, that's when it's going to send out those homeowner anniversary e-cards. And you can just go through this profile page and see all those different dates. Actually, I think birthday is under additional contact information, maybe. Yeah, there it is. So birthday, anniversary, spouse name, children names. So all those can go in here, but the birthday and anniversary dates here, this is looking at wedding anniversary and the birthday e-card for this particular customer, not their spouse or their pet or their kid. So that is how those are set up. Now, just a couple more things I want to look at in eCards and flyers real quick. First off, we have added another special type of eCard that can handle multiple properties at once. So to find it, I just happen to know that it is eCard template 110 right here. So as far as I'm concerned, that's the easiest way to find it. But here it is. Now that we have the capability for these, we're going to continue to add more templates that support multiple eCards. But for now, this is the one we have. So you would select that like any other eCard, and then to add properties to it, I'll just click the plus sign here. And you can see it adds it down here into your selected listings. I don't know how many you can add. I think I've had 6 or 7 in here, and it works fine with those. I don't know if there's a limit, but generally I don't see, probably more than 6 or 7 as to how many I would be doing with these. But you can see as I click them, it loads up the property information for each one in the eCard, and then I can actually reorder these also if I want. So if I just drag that up here, you can see it reorders them on the eCard. So once you have that all set up, it works the same way as any other eCard. You just hit Send eCard, fill out your recipients, and hit Send, and it'll fire off. So there you go. Those are pretty cool. And then the last thing I want to take a look at, we'll just go back to Customers, eCards, and Flyers. And the last thing we have here is the eCard History button. So we'll click on that. Nothing has changed with this, I don't think. But what you can see here is how many eCards you've sent over time, how many of those have been opened, and how many the customer has clicked through to come to the website. And then you also have an entry for each eCard or flyer you've generated in here. So you can scan through each of those, see everything you've done, and you can actually perform actions again. So if you send out an eCard, you want to resend the same one, you can go here to Actions and then Resend, and that'll bring it back up so that you can send it out again. You can also look at the details for the history of that specific eCard. It'll actually label out everyone that it's sent to. And you can also go back into our history here. There we go. You can also reshare this on social media. So let's say you set up an eCard, you send it out, you got presented with those social links, but you forgot that you wanted to share it on Facebook or LinkedIn, and you didn't click the button then. You can go back into this history and click this share button, and then you'll get access to those buttons again. So you can share it again from that point. And then if you click the plus sign down here, depending on the width of your window there, you'll be able to see a couple of more stats just right up front for the eCard, so that you don't have to go all the way into the specific history to see just the basics for send, opened, and click through. So there you go. That is the eCard and flyer system with our new additions as far as the new automations we've added in there and the multi-listing eCard. We are continually adding new eCards to the system, so I think just about every week we're bringing out a couple of new ones, and we just keep adding capabilities to it as we get requests for those. So, as always, thanks a lot for joining me this week. I hope you enjoyed the new additions to the eCards and flyer system. If you have any questions, concerns, comments, feel free to send an email to support@deltagroup.com or give us a call. And Thank you very much for joining me. I'll see you next week.